Welcome to T1 Academy. In our last sessions, we discussed about calendars, clocks and some of the previous year's problems from them. So in this session, we are going to discuss about the percentage and profit and loss together. See students, we all know in UPSC, definitely they are going to ask one or two questions from this area. So keeping UPSC CSAT in our perspective, why? Because this series is completely related to this CSAT one only. So keeping that thing in view, what we are going to see is we are going to learn only the important concepts of percentage and profit and loss together. Why? Because very rarely they will ask individually. Most of the time they will try to join these two concepts and ask us the questions. So keeping that thing in our mind, we are going to learn the percentage and profit and loss, students. Why? Because we have some set of questions, especially there are some set of questions which were most frequently asked from this area. Okay, we will concentrate first on them and then we will move to the other areas. Now first of all, percentage. When it comes to percentage, what actually it means, we know that we will always compare it with 100. See students, once again I am telling, we have another set of videos where in depth we analyzed all the concepts. But as of now, these are the things which we will learn keeping CSAT in our view. Okay, now see here, percentage. We all know percent, we always compare it with percent and then we will do. And first thing which you need to know here is conversion of percentages to fractions. And as well as fractions to percentage based on our requirement. We should be good in these two things. We should convert fractions to percentage and percentage to fractions based on our requirement. Okay, if you are good in doing that, then easily we can solve most of the problems. See how you convert the percentage to fraction, students. How you can convert a percentage into fraction means by simply dividing the given percentage with 100. For example, if I want to convert 20% into fraction. For example, if I want to convert 20% into fraction, how I am going to do that? I am going to divide it with 100. So 20 by 100. 20 by 100. So now what happens to this? 1 by 5. So 20% can also be written as 1 by 5. If I want to convert the percentage into fraction, simply I will divide the given number with 100. And at the same time, if I want to convert a fraction into percentage, vice versa. How I can convert a fraction into percentage? Fraction to percentage, how I can do it? By multiplying the given fraction with 100. By multiplying the given fraction with 100. For example, if I want to convert 1 by 4 into percentage. 1 by 4 into percentage. What I will do? I will multiply 1 by 4 with 100. 4 ones, 4 25s. So 25%. 1 by 4 can also be written as 25%. So this is one of our basic requirement. Always we should be good in converting the percentage to fraction to percentage. Okay, and we have the other videos and you know already you people might have solved. So it is very simple. You should know these conversions first, the basic thing. Next, how you are going to convert the things, how you are going to analyze the things. That is very, very important. Why? Because see here in this percentage concept, there are some areas where we need to concentrate. Based on that only we are going to solve our problems. For example, the first and most important thing for us is effective percentage, especially for CSAT. Always, more or less every year they are asking one question from this area, that is called effective percentage or effective change in the percentage. What is this effective percentage? We should know this one in a very detailed manner. For example, students, there is a person whose salary is increased by 10% and 10% successively. His salary is increased by 10% and 10% successively. Then what is his overall increase in the salary? Usually if you don't know the concept, what you may think is, okay, his salary is increased by 10% once and 10% the other time. So overall his salary is increased by 20%. You may think, but what actually happens here? We will go with a practical example. See here, example, assume that that person's salary is some 1,000 rupees. That person's salary is some 1,000 rupees or 100 rupees. We will go with 100 only. We can easily understand the things. Assume that that person's salary is some 100 rupees. Now, first his salary is increased by what percentage? First his salary is increased by 10%, okay. So then what happens to his salary now? What is 10% of 100? 10% of 100 is 10 only. So what it becomes? 110 rupees. 110 rupees. See students, we all know how we will find the 10% of 100. 10% of 100. 10 by 100 into 100. 10 by 100 into 100. So 100 will get cancelled and it is 10 rupees. So 10 plus 100, it becomes what? 110. Next, his salary is once again increased by 10%. His salary is once again increased by 10%. Now what is 10% of 110? 10 by 100 into 110. 10 by 100 into 110. So this 0, this 0, this 0, this 0 get cancelled. What it is? 11 rupees. So 11 rupees for 110, what it becomes? 121 rupees. 121 rupees. Now please observe here, from here to here. What is the change in its value? 21 rupees. 21 rupees. 21 rupees. So by what is the actual value for us here? 100 rupees. So 21 by 100 into 100%. So 100 will get cancelled, and what is the change in his salary? 21%. The change in his salary is 21%. So each and every time we are not going to do this one, right? Next, before going to this concept, students, we will learn few things. Anyway, you people know it, but as a brush up thing, we will learn this. If I want to find X percentage of Y of or A, X percentage of A, how you are going to find? X by 100 into A. Okay, X percentage of A means X by 100 into A. Okay, this is the first case. Basic understanding things which we will learn is. Next one, see here students, A is X percentage of B. A is X percentage of B. How you are going to write the relation between these two things? A is equal to, that means the meaning of this is A is equal to X percentage of B means what? X by 100 into B. A is equal to X by 100 into B. Understood? Understood? Next, A is X percent more than B. A is X percent more than B. X percent more than B. Now how you will write? There is a lot of difference between these two things, students. A is X percent more than B means how you are going to write? A is equal to B plus already B value will be there, and more than B by what? X percent of B. So that means X by 100 into B. A value will become what? B plus X by 100 into B. Why? Because it is more. And similarly, if it is like this, A is X percent less than B. A is X percent less than B. Then how you are going to write the relation between A and B? A will be equal to B minus less, right? That means always less than B. B minus X by 100 into B. B minus X by 100 into B. B minus X by 100 into B. So these are some basic things which we should know. Next, if any value is changed, how you will find? See here, percentage of change. This is also very, very important for us. Percentage of change is equal to change in value by original value into 100%. Into 100%, or else in other, how you will write the change in value? New value minus mod. We will put mod. The reason is, see here, sometimes the new value may be bigger, or sometimes my old value may be bigger. I mean original value may be bigger. So new value minus original value by original value into 100%. See here students, why I am using a mod symbol here is very simple. Sometimes my original value may be greater, sometimes my new value may be greater. So to avoid that, only just to observe the percentage of change we will do. For example, if new value is greater than original value, then tell me whether the change will be, I mean increment or decrement here. If new value is greater than the original value means obviously an increment. increase in the price. For example, if new value is lesser than my old value or the original value, then what happens there? In that case, we can say that the price is decreased or value is decreased based on the case. Based on the case, we can say that the value or the price is decreased. Value or the price is decreased. So, these are the major observations which we should know before solving the questions from this CSAT area. CSAT area, especially CSAT from percentage. Okay, now these are the things. Next thing, we should identify some small things, something like this. If at some point, if A is equal to some 5 by 4B, if you came to know that A is equal to some 5 by 4B, then if I want to write a relation between A and B, then how I can write the relation? Means see here, what I am going to do this is in fraction, right? I will convert them into percentage. How I can convert 5 by 4 into 100% of B? I can write 5 by 4 into 100% of B. Now 4 ones, 4 25s. And what I can write, A value is equal to 125% of B. A value will be equal to 125% of B. Now I can say that A is 125% of B, or what also I can say here, A is 25% more than B. I can say that value thing, right? Why? Because what I can write 125% of B, can I write in this manner? The same thing, can I write in this manner or not? A is equal to B plus 25% of B. How I am writing this one? Please see here. Okay, I will write it in detailed manner. A is equal to 100% of B plus 25% of B. I can write like this, right? Why? Because here I am splitting 125 I am splitting it as 100% of B and 25. 100% of B or B, both are same, right? 100% of B or B, both are same. So that what I can write here, A is equal to B plus 25% of B. That means what I can write is A is 25% more than B. A is 25% more than B. 25% more than B. I can say that value, right? So we should know these small things before going to the actual concept or before going to solve the problems. Now, okay sir, good, we know this one, how to write and all those things. This is really good, fine. Now, what happens? Now, we will move to our effective percentages cases. Earlier, we have seen one example, right students? Just now we have seen what is that example. Please observe. If a person's salary is changed or increased by 10% and 10% successively, then what is his overall increase in salary? 21%. Overall increase in his salary is 21%. Here, in this case, the salary was increased by 10% and 10% successively. Okay, good, superb. For example, for this, we have a formula. What is that formula? Means effective percentage. Effective change in percentage or effective percentage, both are same students. Effective change in percentage, we call it as effective percentage. If a value changes by X% and Y% successively, if a value changes by X% and Y% successively, then the overall change in percentage or effective percentage is equal to, effective percentage E is equal to, now see here student, for this we have one standard formula, X plus Y plus XY by 100, X plus Y plus XY by 100. If a change is increase or if the change is what we can say incremented, okay, so then we will take that as plus, positive. If change is increase or positive, then we take X and Y values as a positive, If the change is decremental, decremental or negative, then we take values in negative. That means what? See here, x and y values in negative, in the sense, see here, the salary of the person was increased by what percentage and what percentage? 10% and 10% successively. Okay, both are increased, right? So in that case, what I am going to take here, x value I will take it as 10, plus 10 or 10, both are same. So directly I will take x value as 10. And similarly, y value also I will take this as 10%. Why? Because both are increasing. Why? Because the price of the article was, or the salary of the person was increased by 10% and 10% successively. So 10% and 10%. So now what happens to this effective percentage? When I substitute this in effective percentage, 10 plus 10 into 10 by 100. 10 into 10 by 100. Now please observe here what it becomes. These two zeros get cancelled, and 10, 10 and 1. So what you will get? 21%. So effective change in percentage is what? 21%. Whether this is a positive value or negative value here? Here this is a positive value. If you get final answer, if it is a positive one, then we will say that the salary or the value is increased. If you get a negative value, then we will say that the salary is decreased or the value is decreased. See here, anyway we got a plus 21%. That means the salary will be increased by 21%. The salary will be increased by 21%. See students, I am once again repeating. You can expect a question from this area, effective percentage or the change in the value. Why? Because the same concept we will use in profit and loss also. Markup price, marked price. In that case also the same concept, but application is different. Little bit differently we will apply it, but the major area remains same. Okay, good sir. If the value is increased by 10% and 10%, then we can do it. For example, if once the value is increased and then the value is decreased, what will happen? See here, if the price of an article is first increased by 20% and then decreased by 15%. What is the effective change in percentage? What is effective change in percentage? If this is the question, what is the effective change in percentage? This is the question. Then how we are going to solve this question? See here students, already I told you, if it is an increase, take positive. If it is an decrease, take negative. See, first it is increased by 20%, so I will take x as 20%. Next it is decreased by 15%, so y value I will take it as 15%. Y value I will take it as, minus 15%. Why? Because decrease, right? So minus 15%. What is the effective change in percentage formula? We have x plus y plus xy by 100. Now when I substitute this in these values, in this formula, what will happen for us? 20 plus minus 15. Am I correct? 20 plus minus 15 plus 20 into minus 15 by 100. 20 into minus 15 by 100. So now what happens to this? Please observe carefully. 20 ones, 20 fives, 5 ones, 5 threes. So what happens to this? 20 minus 15 minus 3. Why? Because plus into minus, minus. So now what happens to this? 20 minus 18, 2%. Whether you got a positive value or negative value? Positive value. If you get a positive value, that means what? Effectively the price will be increased by what percentage? Effectively the price will be increased by 2%. Effectively the price will be increased by 2%. Please be careful students. What happens is, sometimes if you don't know the concept, the price is increased by 20% and then decreased by 15%. So there is a chance of writing your answer as 5% by directly subtracting 20 minus 15. But that is wrong, right? But that is wrong. If you have any doubt, go with the basic understanding also. If you know the formula, then it is well and good, easily you will get the answer. Else, if you don't, for example, the price is 100 rupees. First it is increased by what percentage? 20%. What is 20% of 100? 20 only. Okay, so that means 100 will become what? 120 rupees. Okay, good. And then next the price was decreased by what percentage? The price was now decreased by 15%. So what is 15% of 120? What is 15 percentage of 120? 15 percentage of 120. If you know it, do 18 rupees, right? 18 rupees. If you don't know, try to find. How you will find 15 percentage of 120? 15 by 100 into 120. 15 by 100 into 120. So now what happens to this? 0, 0 get cancels. Next 5 3s are, 5 2s are, 2 1s are, 2 6s are. So what it becomes? 3 6s are 18 rupees. So you should add this 18 or subtract? Subtract. Why? Because it is decreasing. So this will become what? 102 rupees. This becomes 102 rupees. So that means if the product value changes from 100 rupees to 102 rupees, means how much it is increased? 2 rupees. 2 rupees. So what is 2 rupees of 100 rupees? Means 2 percentage. How you will write? 2 by 100 into 100 percentage. The difference between these two is 2 rupees and the actual price is 100 rupees into 100%. So 0 0 get cancelled and you can write your answer as 2 percentage. 2 percentage. But there is a chance of getting confused here. Because of that reason, use this formula. Use this formula. Okay, sir, good. We will do it. Now, if the value of a product changes for 3 times, okay, assume that if the value of a bike was increased, not increased, for example, the value of a bike was depreciated. Now, I will say the value of a bike is depreciates by bike value depreciates by 20% and 15% successively. What is the overall decrease in its value? Okay, this is the question for us. Now see here, depreciates means what? Decreases, right? Depreciates means what? Decreases. That means when the value of a product depreciates for 2 times, then what will happen? We will see it. See here, for example, we know that what is the effective percentage formula? X plus y plus xy by 100. This is the standard formula, students. See, based on the situations, we will change the signs. That is secondary. So now what is x value in this case? Minus 20. I told you right already, if the value decreases, depreciates or falls, we will take it in negative. And similarly, at the second time also it is getting decreased, right? So same minus 15 only. So x is minus 20, y is minus 15. So now I will substitute in this formula. E value becomes what? Minus 20 plus minus 15. See students, you can actually write minus 20 minus 15. But for your understanding, I am writing like this. Plus minus 20 into minus 15 by 100. Minus 20 into minus 15 by 100. Now anyway, minus into minus plus, this will become complete place value. 21s to 25s, next 5 1s, 5 3s. So what happens to this? Please see here, minus 20 minus 15. This will become minus 35 and plus 3. Why? Because minus into minus, that becomes plus. So plus 3. So effectively the price will be decreased by what percentage? See students, here you got a negative value. Negative value means decreases, depreciates or falls down. So here the price, effective change in percentage is the value of the bike decreases by 32 percentage. The value of the bike decreases by 32 percentage. 32%. So in this manner we are going to write the effective percentage. Okay sir, good. If the change is only for 2 times, we will follow this method. Sometimes what is happening here students? Sometimes the change of the products is happening for 3 times, 4 times. Then what we are going to do or how we are going to solve that one means, for that we have a simple shortcut methods for all those things. How we are going to solve those type of things means, see here, simple, value changes by 10 percentage and 20 percentage. We will go with the 2 values. If the value is increased by 10 percentage and 20% successively, what is the overall change in its value? So initial 10 percentage, I can write it as what? 10 percentage, fraction. 10 percentage, how you will convert it into fraction? Divide it by 100. So 10 percentage, I can write it as 1 by 10. Okay, good, superb. 20 percentage. 20 percentage, I can write it as what? 20 by 100. Means it will become 1 by 5. Now both the cases, these two are what? Increasing. 10% increase and 20% increase. Now see here students, I will write initial and I will write final. I will write initial and final. So if the initial is 10, what about final? Increase means add 10 plus 1. Add 10 plus 1. So 10 plus 1 will become what? 11. Final will become what? 11. And similarly, see here students, 1 by 5. So initial means this denominator will become initial. So 5. Final means either it is increase or decrease, increase. So 5 plus 1 it will become what? 6. 6. See here students how we got this 11 means actually from here. What I have done? 10 plus 1. Denominator is 10 and plus 1 is numerator. Why? Because increase. And similarly how I have written this 6? Same thing. 5 plus 1. Why? Because in both the cases it is getting increased. So now see here 10 5s are, multiply them, 10 5s are 50 and 11 6s are 66. 10 5s are is 50 and 11 6s are 66. Now please observe here, that means initial value is 50, final value became 66. That means what is percentage change here, tell me? First of all, whether it is increased or decreased? Increased. Why? Because my new value is greater than the initial value. My new value or the final value is greater than my initial value. So percentage change, how you will write? The difference between these two. 66 minus 50, what it becomes? 16. By what is the actual or the original value? 50 into 100 percentage. 51s, 52s and it will become what? 32 percentage. It will become what? 32 percentage. Either you can follow this method or that method. But what is the advantage of following this method? What is the advantage of following this method? Means see here students, if the change is for 3 times or 4 times, then you can write it only for once and then write. But in the case of previous one, we will see what will happen, what is the major difference between this method and that method. Anyway, both are same, there is no wrong in that. Now see here, for example, one more example we will solve. If the value of a product, if the value of a, what we can say, a product, the value of a product increases by 20% and then decreases by 10 percentage. What is effective change in its price? What is effective change in its price? Now we will try to solve it. First, the value is increased by 20 percentage. 20% increment, 20 percentage in fraction. How we will write? 20 by 100. So 21s, 25s. So in fraction it will become what? 1 by 5. Now initial and final. Initial value will become 5. The denominator will become initial. Whether it is increased or decreased? Increased. So what you will do? Plus 1. 5 plus 1 it will become what? 6. 5 plus 1 it becomes 6. Okay, good, superb. Next the value is decreased by 10 percentage. Next the value is decreased by 10 percentage. 10 percentage means what you will write? How you will write it into fraction? 10 by 100. So 1 by 10. Okay, good, superb. Now please be careful here students. Now see here 10 percentage decrement, right? So initial value anywhere the denominator will go as initial value. Now come to my final value. See earlier in all these cases the value is increased. So what I have done, I have added it to the new denominator. But in this case the value is decreasing. So what I need to do in this case is I need to subtract. So 10 minus 1 will become what? 9. 10 minus 1 becomes what? 9. Understood students? Try to understand the difference between these two as well as these two. Here in this case initial is 5, increase, right? So 5 plus 1 6. Here in this case it is a decrease. So initial is a 10 and final will become 10 minus 1 9. Remember this one. So now multiplied, 5 tens are 50, 6 nines are 54. Whether it is increased or decreased? Increased. Increased. Increased by what percentage or percentage change will become what for us here? 54 minus 50. What it is? 4. What is the original price? 50 into 100 percentage. So 51s, 52s. So the percentage change is here 8 percentage increase. From 52 it is becoming 54. So there is an increase of 8 percentage here. There is an increase of 8 percentage here. Okay. And similarly, now see here. See students, you should understand this concept very clearly. Why? Because from this area definitely they are asking one question. So if you are really good in this area, more or less, see the chances to ask questions from this percentage and profit and loss are hardly 2. They are going to ask only just 2 questions from this area, and that too majorly In 99.99% cases, they are going to concentrate on this effective percentage or effective change in the value. So that is the reason we are more focusing on this area. Okay. Next, see here students, if the value decreases by 20% and 30%. Decreases by 20% and 30%. Then come to our shortcut method. 20% means how you are going to write? 20 by 100. So that will become what? 1 by 5. Decrease, right? So initial and final. So initial value will become what for us in this case? 5. And final value will become 5 minus 1, 4. 5 minus 1, 4. Why? Because it is decreasing. If it is increasing, plus. If it is increasing, plus. See here students, sir, how you are writing all these things directly. Not directly. What I can write is initial value is equal to, actually how I can write? This decreasing by 20%, right? That means there will be a value, initial value, or the relation. What I can say is initial value is equal to, okay, final value, whatever may be the final value, some final value, and minus 20% of this one. Like this we are going to write. So we don't require all that stories and everything. Try to simply understand this concept. If it is increased, add it. If it is decreased, subtract it. That's it. Nothing more than that. Now next, the price is decreased by what percentage? Next, 30%. How you will convert the 30% into fraction, students? How you can convert percentage to fraction? By dividing it with 100. So this will become what for me? 3 by 10. 30 by 100, 0, 0 will get cancelled and it will be left with 3 by 10. Okay, good. So if initial value is 10, what about my final value? What about my final value? 10 minus 3. 10 minus 3 is how much? 7. So the final value will become what for me here? 7. Final value becomes 7. So now multiply them. 5 tens are 50. 4 sevens are 28. Whether the value increased or decreased, initial and final, definitely decreased, sir. From 50 it is falling down to 28, right? So now percentage change. Now percentage change will become what? 50 minus 28, it will become 22. By actual value is 50 into 100. 51s, 52s, so 22 twos are 44%. Increase or decrease? Decrease. Increase or decrease? Decrease. So the value will be decreased by 44%. Now see here students, it is up to you. You can follow that effective percentage formula, x plus y plus xy by 100, or else if you are good in this simple and shortcut method also, you can go with this one. It is up to you. One added advantage for this one is, what I mean to say is, I told you already there is one added advantage for this one. What is that? Is if the change happens for 3 to 4 times. For example, if the price of an article was increased by 10%, 15% and 20% successively, what is the overall change in the price? Now see here, if we go with effective percentage, what will happen? If we go with the shortcut method, what will happen? We will see both of them. Okay, so it is increased by 10%, 15% and 20%. So if you go with the standard formula, you should go with taking 2 at a time. First find out the effective percentage between 10 and 15. What is the effective percentage between 10 and 15? 10 plus 15 plus 10 into 15 by 100. Why? Because x plus y plus xy by 100. Anyway, both are increasing. So I will take both as plus and plus. So now what happens to this? 0, 0 get cancelled 2 times and 3 times. 3 by 2 means what, students? 1.5. So this will become overall 26.5%. First, the effective percentage between 10 and 15 will become 26.5%. And then you need to find the effective percentage between 26.5 and 20. So therefore, effective percentage will become what? 26.5 plus 20 plus 26.5 into 20 by 100. Understood? So now what happens to this? 21s, 25s. 5 ones, 5 5s are 25. 0.15 means what it will become? 3. 5.3. So now effective value will become 20 plus 20, it becomes 40. 46.5 plus 5.3. 46.5 plus 5.3, what you will get? 51.8 percentage. So the effective change in increase in the price of article is 51.8 percentage. 51.8 percentage. Okay, good, superb, sir. Now if I go with the same thing with shortcut method, increase by 10%, 15% and 20%, right? So 10 percentage, how I can write? 1 by 10. So initial, final. What it becomes? 10 and 11. Next 15 percentage, how I can write 15 percentage, students? 15 by 100. Means it will become 3 by 20. So initial becomes 20, final becomes 23. Next 20 percentage. 20 percentage. What happens to this 20 percentage? It will become 1 by 5. So initial becomes 5 and final becomes 6. Why? Because all the three are increasing in manner. Now product of these three. Product of these three. See here, students. If you find meanwhile between this and this, if you are able to cancel them, cancel it. Or else don't go to that cancellation, only simply multiply. 25s are 100, 100 tens are 1000. That means initial value is 1000. Next 11 23s are, what you will get? 11 23s are 200 and 23 11s are 253. 253 into 6. 253 into 6. 6 3s are 18 and 1. So 6 5s are 31. So 30 plus 1 31. 3 will be left. So 1518. 1518. 1518. So that means from 1000 rupees it was increased to 1518. So now tell me, what is the percentage change in this case? Percentage change is equal to, so what is the difference between these two? 518 by, what is the actual value? 1000 into 100. So 2 zeros get cancelled. So 51.8 percentage. So 51.8 percentage. Understood, students? So based on the requirement, see, if the change is for 3 times or 4 times, my suggestion, my personal suggestion is, if you were able to understand this one, go with this method. Go with this method. If not, then go with the standard procedure. What is the standard procedure? Means take any 2 values at a time and then try to solve it. Sir, how this is related to our profit and loss then? See, anyway, we will discuss profit and loss in depth later, but for time being, which is related to this effective percentage and everything, we will see it. How it will be related with our effective percentage, sir. Now, in this profit and loss concept, students, we know some terminology. What are those? Cost price, selling price. These are the major things. Okay, these are the major things, cost price and selling price. Okay, good, sir. Now, what we will have? One more price is markup price. Marked price. What is this marked price, sir? See, if you go to any retail store, you can see MRP on it. On every product, you can see MRP. See, sometimes they may offer us discount, sometimes they may not offer us any discount. See, market price is not what actually is cost price. Just market price is a value which we can say on the products. Okay, so now what happens? Generally, how the deal will happen when the discount case comes here? Means, see here, the shopkeeper will manufacture for some cost price. Am I correct? And then he will increase the price. He will mark up it. And he will mark a market price on the product. Marking up means increasing the value. And then what he will do is, he will give a discount. And he will sell the products. This is the chain. And this value will become what for a selling price. This value becomes what for a sale. See, that means there will be a cost price. Intentionally, the shopkeeper or the dealer or whoever it may be, who produces the goods, he will mark up the price. And then he allows a discount and then he sells the products. So now, at the end of the storyline, how you will say profit or loss means by comparing with these two things only. This value is just an intermediate used value. See, by comparing these two values only, we will say whether we got a profit or loss. Right? So now, how we are going to implant this one? into our concept effective percentage. Means see here, percentage profit or loss. We don't know what it is, profit or loss, we don't know exactly. If you get a positive value, that is profit. If you get a negative value, that is loss, students, actually speaking. So marking up means whether you are increasing the price or decreasing the price. Whether you are increasing the price or decreasing, that means whether the change will be is in a positive or negative, positive. So what you will do? Markup percentage. Markup percentage. And then you will allow a discount. Discount means what, students? Decreasing, right? Discount means what? Decreasing. So that means you will give a discount, minus discount. See, for your understanding, initially I will take plus of minus discount. For your better understanding, plus of minus discount plus markup percentage into minus discount percentage. Why I am taking discount means by 100 percentage, by 100, by 100, by 100. This is the formula for this one. See here, student, this is nothing but x plus y plus xy by 100 only. Okay, x plus y plus xy by 100 only, but little bit differently we are writing it. So what happens to this? See here, markup minus discount plus into minus, minus, markup minus discount minus markup into discount, markup into discount by 100 percentage, by 100 percentage. So this is the formula for percentage change in the value, percentage change in the value. This one is also very, very important. If see, if you know x plus y plus xy by 100, that is enough. But this is add up. Just to know the terminology, I have written in this manner. Markup minus discount minus markup into discount by 100. Then, sir, how we will decide whether it is a profit or loss? Whether this, in this case, we are getting profit or loss means simple, students. If you get a positive value, that means percentage change, then it is profit. If it is a positive value, then it is profit. If it is a negative value, then this is a loss. If it is a positive value, that is profit. If it is a negative value, that is a loss. That is loss. See here, students, as I have already told you, we are learning this concept keeping CSAT in our perspective, in our view. So that is the reason directly I came to the point, and what are required, I have discussed only those things. Okay, and there are a lot of things in this percentage and profit and loss. For this we have another set of videos. Please do watch those videos. Then you will have a clear idea about this percentage and profit and loss. Actually these two are two major sections. But here in CSAT we need to learn the concepts very quickly in less time. Because of that reason I am trying to club these two concepts, percentage and as well as profit and loss, and then give the result which we want, which we want to solve the problems with which we are going to solve. Okay, now next thing which we should know in this concept is, one more thing is based on elections, students. See, I am explaining all the concepts. In the next video we are going to solve the problems. Now there will be questions based on these elections. What is this questions based on these elections means? See here, first of all, enrolled voters. It will be like a hierarchy. We should know this one. Enrolled voters. From this enrolled voters, what we will do? Some will cast their votes, some will not cast their votes. Okay. Casted votes and didn't cast votes. So like this we will have two different sections. And from this casted votes, once again, see, the persons who didn't cast their votes will not bother about them. But when it comes to this casted votes, here we will have two types of sets. One is invalid votes due to some many what we can say circumstances. There will be some invalid votes, and we will have valid votes. Valid votes. Now when we want to decide who is the winner or who is the loser, which one we will take into our consideration? This valid votes. From this valid votes we will have only two candidates. See, usually in our concept they will give questions based on two persons only. So one will be winner and the other one will be loser. One is winner and the other one is loser. So they will share, the winner and the loser will share the valid votes only. Valid, casted valid votes only they can share. Now, here we will hear one more word called majority. Here we will hear one more word called majority. That means what? Majority is the vote difference between the winner and loser. Okay, vote difference between the winner and loser. That means how many votes? That will be thus. So see here, for example, in an election there are X persons enrolled for that election. That means X number of people enrolled to cast their vote in the elections. Now for example, in that if 10%, if 20% of voters didn't cast their votes, 20% of voters didn't cast their votes. That means what about the other 80%? They casted their votes. So now what happens to my casted votes? 80% of X. Why? What is the reason here? Out of X voters, 20% didn't cast their votes. So 20% of X didn't cast their votes, so we will not bother about them and we don't take them into consideration. So that number of people who casted their votes are becoming how much? 80% of votes. Okay, good, super. Next. In that casted votes, 10% went invalid. 10% of the votes went invalid. So what happens to these invalid votes? 10% of this 80%. See students, don't raise sir, 80% cast votes are there. In that 10% invalid means 10% will be invalid, 70% is valid. Not like that. Very clearly I am telling that 10% of casted votes were invalid. 10% of casted votes were invalid. So that means what I can write, invalid will become 10% of 80% of X. 10% of 80% of X. Remember. Now what about valid votes? If 10% are invalid, remaining 90% becomes valid votes. So 90% of 80% of X. 90% of 80% of X. Understood? See, if he uses the word like this, 10% of the total votes enrolled in the election were invalid means, then I would have taken directly 10% of X and I will write directly 70. But usually that thing will not be happened. Simply, so 10% of 80% of X, 90% of 80% of X. So out of casted votes, 10% are invalid means 90% becomes valid. 90% becomes valid. Next. Now, the winner gets 60% of votes. The winner gets 60% of votes means 60% of votes means what you will take into consideration? Only valid votes, right? So the winner will get how much? 60% of valid votes. That means 90% of 80% of X. The winner will get 60% of valid votes means 60% of 90% of 80% of X. If winner gets 60% of votes, what about loser? What about loser? He will get 40% of valid votes. So 40% of 90% of 80% of X. 80% of X for us here. So now tell me what is the majority in this case? He gets 60% and he gets 40%. So what is majority in this case? Majority value will become what? Majority becomes 20% of. Why? Because 60 minus 40 is how much? 20%. 20% of this valid votes. 90% of 80% of X. 90% of 80% of X. Like this hierarchy is also very, very important, students. Why? Because later while solving the problems, we are going to use the same thing directly. Okay. So because of that reason, I have written this one priorly. Okay. Next. These are the understandings which we should know, students. Next one. See here. I will tell you two things. A person spends 10% on house rent, 25% on 10% of his salary on house rent, 25% of his salary on food, 20% on education and 10% on what we can say medical bills. Okay. Now what is his overall savings? This is the question. Now see here students, he is spending 10% on house rent, 25% on food, 20% on education and 10%. This is a direct question. Now see here, so 10%, so his expenditure, I am trying to write his expenditure, 10% plus 25% plus 20% plus 10%. This is his expenditure. Now see here, directly 10 plus 25 it becomes 35. 35 plus 20 it becomes what? 55. 55 plus 10 it becomes 65. That means he will spend 65% of his salary. Then what will be his savings? How you will write the savings? Actually income minus expenditure. So from his 100% of income, he will spend 65%. That means his savings will become what here? 35%. His savings is here 35%. A simple and direct question. Now, for example, if the question is a person spends 10% of his salary on rent, comma, 25% of the remaining on food, comma, 20% of the remaining on education and 10% of the remaining on medicine. What is his overall saving? If this is the question. Now please observe here students, there is a lot of difference between this one and this one. Here the thing is direct. See, he is spending 10% on house rent, 25% on food, 20% on education, 10% on medical things. So here everything is directly given. But here please see here, he spends 10% of his salary on rent, comma, 25%. That means after spending 10%, for example, his salary is some X. Now, after spending rent, he will be left with how much? He will spend 10% of salary on rent, right? So now he will be left with how much only? 90%. See, after rent he will have 90% of X. Next, see here 25%. That means after rent he will be left with 90% of X. Now on this 25% of remaining on food. That means after food, see, if he spends 25% on food, then he will be left with what? 75%, right? So after food he will be left with 75% of what is the remaining actually? This is the remaining after he spends on food. Rent. Now my new remaining, 20% of the remaining. Now what is he is left with? Remaining means the thing which he is left. Now he is left with this, right? On this he is spending 20% on what? Education. So if 20% is spent on education, he will be left with how much? 80%. So after education he will be left with what? 80% of the remaining, means this will become my new remaining. 75% of 90% of X. 75% of 90% of X. Next. And 10% of the remaining on medicine. So my new remaining will become, this will become. If he spends 10% of this on medicine, he will be left with what? 90%. So after medicine, he will be left with 90% of this value. 80% of 75% of 90% of X. Okay, now he is left with this value. Then how you are going to find this value? What is this value? Means simple. Please try to solve this one. 90% means 90 by 100 into 80 by 100 into 75 by 100 into 90 by 100 times of X. please, my one suggestion is, if you want you can cancel everything, but make sure that put 100 aside. Why? Because directly we can write the percentage at the end. If you have 100 aside, directly we can write the percentage. Now see here, 25 3s are, 25 4s are. Next, 2 zeros get cancelled. 1 0, 1 0 I am cancelling it. Next 4 1s, 4 2s. Right? 2 1s, 2 5s. 2 5s. I will put that aside. Now, what are the things I have left with here? Please see here, 9 3s are 27, or else 9 9s are 81, 81 3s are 243. So, I will be left with what actually here, I will take this space, 243 by 5 into 1 by 100. I am writing intentionally that 1 by 100 students. Okay, why? What is the advantage? I will tell you. Why? Because directly I can write that as percentage. 5 4s are 243. So 5 4s are 20. Next 43, 5 8s are 0.6. That means 48.6 percentage of x. That means at last you will be left with what? 48.6 percentage. That means his savings is here how much? 48.6 percentage. See here students, there is a lot of difference between this one and this one. Please try to understand between these two things. Then easily you can solve the problems. If you understand the difference between these two things, easily you can solve the problems. Understood? See, these are the major things which are asked in CSAT. That is the reason. Next, at the same time, similarly, the one more thing which we have here is based on examination. Examination. So, what happens in this examination is, see here, if a student fails by or passes by some marks, they will give us in the question. We will go with an example so that easily you will understand. In an examination, the pass marks is 40 percentage. 40 percentage, full stop. A student scores 30 percentage of marks but fails by 20 marks. What is the maximum mark in that examination? That is the question. See here students, according to the student, according to the given question, what is the pass mark for us? Pass mark in that examination is 40 percentage of total. That means if he gets 40 percentage of total, any student will get passed in that examination. But one of the student got 30% of mark and he failed by 20 marks. Fails by 20 marks means, see here for example, if he gets that 20 marks, obviously he will be passed in that examination, right? So that means from student point of view, what is the pass mark? Tell me. From student point of view, pass mark is 30% plus 20 marks. Is it correct or not? From the student point of view, if he secured 30% and if he scores more 20 marks, he will pass. That means the same examination. So this is pass mark, we got one pass mark, and this is the other pass mark which we got here. So here we got two pass marks. So now please see here, that means according to the given things or the given data, I write like this, 40 percentage is equal to 30%, see 40% in the sense 40% of total, 30% in the sense 30% of total, plus 20 marks, right? So when I want to solve this, when I send 30% to this side, it will become what? 10%. Why? Because minus 30. So now I will write 10% of total is equal to 20 marks. 10% of total is equal to 20 marks. There will be two types of questions here, students. The first one is, what is pass marks? This can be our first question. Or next one is, what is the maximum marks in that examination? Maximum. So pass marks means, see 10% of total is 200. Pass marks is how much? 40%. If you want to find, if 10%, 40% means pass mark. How much means, see here, 10 4s are 40. Similarly, 20 4s are 80 marks. So pass marks means pass marks will be 80 marks. Pass marks will be 80 marks. Now similarly, if I want to find the maximum marks means what? 100%. Total. Maximum. So according to the things what we got, 10% of total is equal 20 marks. 100% means what it becomes? See here into 10. So similarly here also into 10. 20 tens are 200. So that means the total marks or the maximum marks in that examination will become what for us? 200. 200. So this is one of the important case for us based on the examination. Based on the examination. Sometimes they may give you two students also. One will pass by 20 marks, one will fail by 20 marks, something like that. Then also you can compare the things, students. Okay, like this we will see in our next session, continuation sessions. We will see the concept of profit and loss as well as problems from this percentage and profit and loss which was asked in previous years. See students, effective percentage is very important. Definitely I am telling that you can expect a question from that one. Every year they are asking one question from that area. So please do practice regularly. We will see in our next session. Thank you very much. Thank you.